HR friends, welcome back. We're in 5-1 emotional 6.5 day sequence, and we're going to talk about the first day in this new sequence. Now, because we're starting a new sequence, we actually encourage all viewers to check out the general overview that we do because it breaks down how to read these graphs as well as how to keep up on these 24-hour forecasts. So let's get started here on day one. Day one is going to be challenging for multiple reasons. First of all, we've got a dual emotional polarity flip happening in first person. We also have a dual mental polarity flip happening in third person. And when you add these two things together, we get up to that number 4 and we're above it this entire 24-hour section. In fact, halfway through day one, we really elevate up to that 6 range, all the way up into that 8 range. Defensive design is definitely going to be manipulated. So high alert here. The other thing you got to remember too is when we start a new emotional set, what this is it's like a change in the metaphorical tide. So what we've done here is we've hit a low tide and now it's going to turn around and it's going to start to pile back in. And it's going to take a little time for our bodies to get used to this new electromagnetic flow in the forward direction. So definitely be patient with the people around you. Definitely stay calm and be very clear with your words today. And definitely don't act defensively, because if you do, what's happening is this pattern is manipulating you. It's manipulating you to create the stress that makes your life even tougher. It accelerates your aging and it creates future states of disease. We're trying to help you eliminate that stress so that you can get healthier and you can help the people around you get healthier. All right, so that's day one here. All right. Day one electromagnetics, very challenging. Now, because it's going to be such a challenging day and because there's so much electromagnetics going on, it's going to increase our sensitivity. Why am I saying that? Well, sensitivity is going to be increased, which means this testing sequence is going to be more noticeable for people. Now, when we look at the quadrants of the body that are going to be tested today, we're still having a lot going on here in the left lower quadrant. That's going to be the strongest test load. That's at a 5-6 range, and that's going to happen for the whole 24 hours. As far as the upper left and upper right go, they're definitely below that 4 mark, and they're kind of equal. Same thing here with the right lower. It starts out a little bit weaker. In the last 12 hours, it definitely makes it to that 4 range. So people are most likely going to be feeling their lower extremities today because the testing load's a little bit harder. That's all that means, okay? Now, let's get down here and look at the zoomed in. So the zoomed in it makes it much easier to see when the peaks and the valleys are going to happen, and we synchronize this with universal time. Now, the best thing to do is to go to our homepage, healthreconnected.com. We have a live feed, hit play, a time bar comes up, shows you where we are exactly within this sequence. Now, the other reason we do these 24-hour forecasts is for confirmation. So there are a lot of alignments today that are going to help you confirm that your choices matter. You see, we're being tested 24/7. We're always being tested on how well we get along with teammates and how well we're balancing our routine. But there are certain moments in the day when two tests in a quadrant, when they align and come together. And when they align and come together, they create an amplified moment. And during these amplified moments, you're going to have an amplified effect. Meaning, if you're in balance with the frequencies during that amplified moment, well, you're going to experience something great. If you're out of balance with that amplified moment, that's when you're going to experience an increase in tension, pain, and unpleasant events. So these are the low-hanging fruit. We show you when these alignments are happening because it's the easiest way to show you how you're in an interactive biofeedback system and how important it is to understand what your choices are doing to you and your experiences. All right. Now, the first 12 hours of this sequence, there aren't any alignments at all. In the second 12 hours of this sequence, it's going to get spicy. Now, the other thing during these alignments, not only are they amplified moments where you're going to feel things more depending on what your choices are, but we're also having a lot of electromagnetic agitation, which is going to sensitize us. So people are going to be more sensitive to the test load and they're going to be more sensitive to these alignments. Now, we've got a ton of alignments here. So what we're going to do is we're going to group them all together because these alignments are really testing the same thing for the most part. Now, on the space side, the blue alignments are testing to see how well we get along with our teammates. So when the time bar is going through these alignments, and it's going to be going through multiple alignments today pretty much all day long. So it's going to be hard to know, well, which one's causing which thing because they're really all going down into the lower quadrants of the body, okay? Now, as far as the first person goes, it wants to know how well we're getting along with the younger members of the team. And if you're struggling to get along with younger members of the team, you're really going to feel it mostly on that left side today. Now, it doesn't matter if the member's younger, older, mature, immature, male, female, you got to master relationship. And to do that, you have to be able to communicate with your teammates. You have to be able to coordinate with your teammates. You have to alleviate stress and work through stress with your teammates. And most importantly, you have to talk to your teammates about their routines, your routines, and how you can balance your routines together to make sure that future families and individuals are going to have better experiences because what you invested in together as teammates. Now, as long as you're doing that, you don't have to worry about these alignments. But if you're having trouble getting along with the younger members of the team specifically, and you can't do all those things I just listed, the harder it is to do those things, and the less you're doing them, the faster you're going to take damage to that lower left quadrant of the body and a little bit to the lower right quadrant of the body today during misalignment. Now, on the time side, this has to do with routines, and you can see they're all red. So the routines down here, these are the smaller routines, individual and family. These are the larger routines, national and world routines. Now, in truth, you got to balance your routines. You can't overinvest in the top or overinvest in the bottom. If you want to be healthy, you have to invest in all quadrants of your body. Now, the more unbalanced your choices are, the more you're going to feel it in your right lower quadrant today when you're being tested on how balanced your routines are. This is going to be a challenging day for lower quadrants for many people. So, what you're really going to want to do here is pay attention to what you feel and when you feel it, and you can document that, and we can help you sort out where you need to focus first. But the truth is this: you just got to commit to every member of the team and try to master relationship at every level with every gender. And you have to really start to think about your choices and what they're going to leave this world if you continue to make them the way you are. All right, so these last two graphs, they're going to show us where the strongest frequencies are going to sit in this next 24-hour period of time. And it's pretty obvious there's an imbalance here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 10 strongest frequencies are parked over on this left side again. And that kind of makes sense because when we were talking about this, you can see the testing load for the left lower is a little bit higher. And the upper left, I mean, it's noticeable. It's not the strongest one here, but the left side of the body is definitely going to be taken on a little bit more. Now, if you happen to get upper left quadrant pain in this next 24-hour period of time, we know you're struggling with your routine at that larger level. If you happen to get right upper quadrant pain during this next 24-hour period of time, we know you're struggling to get along with the older teammates. If you get right lower quadrant pain in this next 24 hours, we know you're struggling with your routines at that smaller level. And the only quadrant there's overlap is the left lower quadrant. So if you get left lower quadrant pain, you're just going to want to document what you feel and when you feel it to make sure if it's the routine that's causing your issue or if it's how you're getting along with teammates that's causing your issue. But the truth is this: if you commit to your team and you balance your routine, you're not going to have to worry about these charts anymore. Okay. Things are going to be okay. But until you do that, this is just a way to know to where you want to start and how you're going to get as healthy and feel as well as you can, as fast as you can. All right. So we're going to end this out by showing you we got the rest of 2024 posted. It's right here at your fingertips. You just got to scroll down. And when you look at this sequence, you're going to know every time this pattern is going to elevate before it elevates, which gives you a huge advantage. We are trying to empower individuals to overcome this pattern so that they don't have their defensive design make the stress that makes their life that much more difficult. Okay. And the more individuals we get overcoming this pattern, the bigger the collective effect we're going to be able to create. That's what Health Reconnected is up to, and we need your help. All right, we'll see you in the next 24 hours. Thank you for your time.